Hey guys, Garrett97 again. This time with a review of the 1/44 scale high-grade Universal Century GM from the first Gundam series. So for colors, we have a very light mintish green for most of it. Kind of has a bluish hint to it. Then we got red for the body, the shoulders, and the bottom of the feet. We have some gray for the hands, the joints, thrusters on the backpack, and the backpack itself is also that same mint green. Same goes for the beam saber and the shield. So technically, to have it completely color accurate, you would have to paint that white. Though to be honest, I think it is better in that same color because it does fit in better. If you're gonna paint this white, it is going to stand out a bit too much. And then finally, we have very nice clear green for the visor. And part of the same piece is the main camera, so that is really cool. And then the only sticker we get is the black one for the cockpit hatch. So overall, it does a very good job at being color accurate, minus, well, the technical white that should be applied to the shield, but as I said before, except for one thing, that is when you look at the joint here. Well, I say joint, that should technically be a joint, but it definitely looks nice, but it would have been so much better if that was also molded in gray, just as they did with the Gundam, or I should say as they fixed with the Gundam, because that thing was released a bit later. So then, on to articulation. The head is very close to the body, so only jits up and down a little bit, so not much movement going on there. You have a hard time even rotating it around without pulling it out of it. So what I would definitely recommend doing with the head is extending the peg of the neck. Then the arms rotate around all the way, no forwards and backwards movement. Once again, something they fixed with the Gundam. Arm goes up about 90 degrees, rotates around all the way, bends at one joint, and the hands turn around, wiggle around, and do everything a ball joint does. And the waist, if you extend it a bit, does go side to side, and it reveals that block there, which is a really cool touch. So you're supposed to extend it in order to get that articulation, and instead of just having a see-through there, they actually included that, which is some very good attention to detail. Really like what I did there. Rotates around all the way with no problem at all. Legs go out quite nicely. Forwards, not the most, but still a bit more than I was expecting with this. And you could kind of try to force it a bit, but that's about all you're going to get. So that is unfortunate. Legs go backwards, almost about the same. So yeah, that is very unfortunate. Then the legs rotate around a bit. Bent at the knee at two joints, that's about all you're going to get. And the feet, well, they're just on a ball joint, so up, down, rotate around a bit, because this thingy here has one, it extends a bit and it kind of grabs into the foot. So this here is going to prevent the foot from rotating around any further. And then the ankle guards also go up and down. So in conclusion, the articulation is unfortunately showing that it's an old kit. It definitely hasn't aged as well as some other kits, for example the Gundam, in which they absolutely fixed a number of things. So it's really unfortunate that they couldn't have included those features earlier in the gym, but at least they learned. Now moving on to accessories, and let's talk about some more disappointments. Starting off with my favorite accessory with every model kit, a toothpick beam saber. But everyone thinks, no need to worry, because there's a beam saber on there, right? Right? And that's going to fix everything. Of course it's going to fix everything. But at least the good news here on the toothpick is, it holds in the hand rather well. So then let's remove this and go on to our savior and realize there's no hole in there. That was a bummer. The first time I discovered that, I was just like everyone else. I thought, hey, there's a beam saber on top of that backpack, so this one is definitely going to be usable. well, unless you got a drill with a very small drill bit, you're not going to be able to use that. So probably the best thing you can do is grab yourself a Gundam, the RX-78-2. If you really want to give him usable beam sabers with clear beams, grab an RX-78-2 and borrow one of those beam sabers. They will fit in that same backpack. So then, onto some better accessories. One really cool thing we're getting is the beam spray gun, and I don't know why, but I really like the look of this thing. It's small, streamlined, and it just looks perfect as like a secondary weapon. I just built the beam spray gun from the weapon set, and I think this looks way too bulky, and I absolutely love the way this thing looks. I've tried on a number of different mobile suits, and it looks absolutely fantastic as a secondary weapon. Keep that in mind, secondary weapon. And then put it in there, and definitely looks really nice. But the unfortunate thing is, this is the only weapon we get with the GM. And you might say, well, it's the only weapon that's used in the anime, but when you look at all of the other GMs, well, all of the other normal GMs, whether it's one of the master grades or one of the MSIAs, they all come with multiple weapons, and that could have really been a selling point for this machine here. I would have loved to at least gotten a bazooka. That would have been awesome. Or they could have just given us the beam rifle as kind of a joke for that animation error in the anime. But moving on with other things we get a very nice shield, and the cool thing about it is there's a handle, and the hands can actually grab onto it, and the hands are strong enough, or at least they were strong enough when I tried it out before the review. Let's try squeezing them together a bit more. Come on. So at least they were strong enough to hold up the shield once. Ah, there we go. Just had to squeeze them together a bit more. So that's really the thing about these hands. And one thing I have to say about them is, if you take apart the top too much, they're definitely going to wear out rather quickly. So if you wanted him to hold the shield up like this, I would recommend putting it like this and not touching the hands too much afterwards. And the cool thing about the shields is you can have them in like a lower pose or a higher pose, because this here is on a ball joint, so it can't turn around. So you can have the lower pose where you can also have him hold on to the handle like this. Unfortunately, if you have him hold on to the handle, the shield will be at a bit of an angle. So it's kind of shoulder height now, or if you want it to be a bit higher, it's up like this. So it is cool that you can choose the height of the shield. Then the final accessory that we're getting is this really cool hand. I gotta hand it to them. This is a really nice and detailed hand. Unfortunately, well, you could kind of try to use it to hold up a weapon, but it's mainly more of an action hand, like, oh no, or something bad happened, or reaching for someone, or the way they communicate in the series, putting a hand on one of the other mobile suits' shoulder for a direct link. So that's the best use for that hand. And finally, in case you don't want to use a shield, you can just pop it off and use a peg here to attach it to the back. Now once again, you can use the swivel joint to either have it quite high up or a bit lower, like so. And well, I guess it does make the arm a bit lighter so we can go for the beam saber. Unfortunately, even though the hand would be nice for kinda going for a grabbing motion, due to the limited articulation of the arm, he can't quite grab onto it. So let's just put the shield back onto the arm. So unfortunately for accessories, as I've said before, they're adequate. You get the basics, but then you have the beam toothpick, you have the unusable beam. Though, for anyone wondering, this was before having usable beam sabers kind of became the standard. because if I remember correctly, the RX-78-2, which came after this one, was the first one to have those usable beam sabers, at least in 1/144th scale. So it's very unfortunate that a lot of things the GM did wrong were fixed right after this guy was released. So when you look at it, you have the articulation, which is slightly lacking, especially in the feet and the shoulders, was fixed with the RX-78-2. You have the unusable beam fixed with the RX-78-2. So in a sense, it's the complete opposite of the anime. In the anime, the RX-78-2, well, the GM was kind of a refined version of the RX-78-2 and came after the Gundam. But in this sense, the RX-72 came off the GM and took a lot of lessons from the GM. So very unfortunate for the little guy here. So, as always, the inevitable question is, do you want to buy this? And well, even though that at 700 yen, it is the cheapest GM out there, minus the ones made before 1990, I still can't recommend it to everyone, considering all I've said just now. The thing about the GM is, it feels outdated. It is an older model kit, but is it a bad model kit? At the time, definitely not. It was an okay model kit at the time, but today, it feels dated. When you compare it to the RX-78-2, this is definitely a more modern feeling machine because it fixed a lot of the problems the GM here had. And another problem the GM has is, even for just someone who kind of likes GMs in general, there are still better options out there. So when you look at all the other GMs, better accessories or better articulation or better some things. So the thing is, the GM is a bit outclassed even in its own class. Even for people who just like grunts or who just like GMs even specifically, there are a lot of other options out there. And there's just nothing that's really selling the GM other than, well, the retro look of the original GM. Also, it's very fun to modify little things. So if you like to modify the GMs, I have to say, you can definitely make them look a lot more badass, even if you just give them a slightly longer neck. So, at the end of the day, I can only recommend this thing to people who really like the look of the old GM or who really want to modify him. And even then, you have the master grades. You have the 1.0, which comes with a plethora of weapons. As I've said before, all of the other ways to get the GM, the old GM, have a lot more weapons. You've got the GM 2.0 demonstrator. You've got the MSIAs, which come with a lot of weapons. So, it's unfortunate. I really would have liked it if they gave us a few more accessories. That would have sold this model kit, but as of now, other than the look of the GM, there's nothing really that yells, buy me, about this set. Still, it's the GM, looks nice. So then, for some more size comparisons, let's quickly put these next to each other. And, well, as you can see, RX-78-2 and a slightly upgraded GM. Without too much effort, you too can make your GM look like this. So then, a few other GMs which are definitely more worth to buy. The GM Custom, way better articulation, looks like a badass. Of course it is. You might think it's a bit unfortunate because it's a newer one, but that's the unfortunate part about it. And we have here the GM Command. And well, slightly more expensive, but this, you could have a debate about which one you want to buy. Then let's put these aside. Next up we have the GM Kai, and then the GM Sniper 2. Once again, those are unfortunately going to be a much better value, just like with the GM 2 or the GM 3. And finally, let's compare them to some bigger machines. The Zaku 3 and the Jig. And as you can see, the GM is a pretty standard mobile suit. And you know what? To end it off, let's put some arch nemesis next to him. The Zaku 2s. And that's all for this review, and see you guys next time.